Welcome to The Savage Truth with Cicely Davis. I am your host, Cicely Davis.
Welcome back, Savage Truthers, to The Savage Truth. You know me, I am your happy host, Cicely Davis, with a special edition of The Savage Truth. I brought some friends along with me today, brothers. Some brothers and brothers, literally. Welcome to The Savage Truth for the first time, Cedric and Prince. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Yeah, we have finally. Yeah.
Now, before we begin, I need to do some quick housekeeping for the newbies. Welcome to the channel. Ooh, you picked a good show to join me in on. Come on back next time. Bring somebody, tell somebody about the show. Bring them back with you for next time. For my ride or dies, to my loyalists, you know, I couldn't and wouldn't be able to do this without you. Thank you so much for your loyalty. I appreciate you again for taking the time to show up and spend time with me. As always, my ass is the same. Whether you're new or a ride or die, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And we're going to get right into this. Now, today is special because not only am I joined by two of my dear and special friends, of course, who I respect and enjoy so much, but we are shooting this show today with the backdrop of the Dakota County Fair in Dakota County, Minnesota. This is where I am now. This is salt of the earth. This is the heartland, okay? Heartland America. And this is important because with this whole Walz-Harris ticket, we keep hearing from everybody weighing in on this, on Tim Walz joining as her running mate for VP. We keep hearing from the media, but we're not actually hearing from those who actually live in Minnesota. And that's the importance and the significance of that conversation tonight. Those who have actually lived under his governorship, which, by the way, has been a total and complete atrocity. So I brought some friends along who can speak to that and talk to you about what it's really like and give you that perspective. And then we maybe go into the fair and have some fun and bring you along with us. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. Now, I don't want to beat around the bush. Want to get right into it because I want to address this whole weird thing, okay? We're going to talk about that. So Tim Walz says J.D. Vance is weird. This is the party that tells us that they can't define what a woman is, that boys can menstruate and men can breastfeed, and a woman doesn't need anything from a man to get pregnant, calls us weird. Now, that's the kind of logic, that kind of logic makes as much sense as spraying perfume in the outhouse. Okay? These are people who preach climate change, but build mansions on beaches and jet around in the biggest, most expensive jets, and they want to talk to us about weird. They believe in late-term abortions at 7, 8, and 9 months, and that baby doesn't have the right until it leaves the hospital. And they want to talk to us about weird. They want to nuke the nuclear family where men are absent, don't work, and need breaks in the workplace to lactate. They mask up alone in cars, socially distance, and hug grandparents through saran wrap, put their kids behind plexiglass, and spray them with hoses if they suspect contact with normal unmasked people. Want to use the term weird on others. They mandate masks for the healthy. They want to wave through glass to grandpa at the nursing home. They lined up willingly like lab rats for Big Pharma, while Big Pharma ran and tested questionable mass medical experiments on them, and they're going to call us weird. The people who called BLM, not Black Lives Matter, but more appropriately what I like to call Brown Loot and Murder, who rioted cities, vandalized buildings, and desecrated properties, yet was called peaceful protesting. They find racism, sexism, and hatred in everything we do. They dye their hair purple and green, get offended by everything, including happy, healthy family. They get offended by math and pronouns, and they think we're weird. They think there's 247 genders. They want to cut testes from healthy boys and breasts from healthy young girls. And specifically in Minnesota, hear this, they want to collect and test cow farts, and they call us weird. These are the people who drink out of paper straws, curse heterosexual Christian straight white men, plug cars into the wall, and call obesity beautiful. They fight for a man's right to stand up and pee next to a woman, beat them down in mixed martial arts and in boxing and in swimming and in track and field and weightlifting, and expect the government to run their life from cradle to grave. And they name their kids weird things like apple or Kool-Aid or whatever they do, guava juice, I don't know. If the opposite of all that is weird, then pick up a crayon and color me the weirdest color you got, okay? Prince and Carlton, weigh in on this.
Okay. Like I said, you covered about everything. Okay. my thing is, they lost me at a boy can be a girl. Whenever you're an adult and you can chop a kid's genitals off to say that they're another gender, we're dealing with, that's weird.
That's weird.
I wouldn't even say that's weird. That's sick.
Sick.
Yes. Yeah, that's sick. But I'm so glad that Kamala Harris has chosen Tim Walz. So now we can get everything on the national stage. See, we've been shaming him locally, and we've been shaming him statewide, but now we can shame him on a national level because things are starting to come out. You're starting to see that people are like, hold on, they saw what legislation in Minnesota? So look, the other day on social media, I showed everybody the thing about the tampons being in boys' bathrooms.
Tim Walz.
The tampons being in boys' bathrooms. A lot of people didn't even know that was going on. And look, see, you in your monologue, you said something right. You said a baby doesn't have rights until it leaves the hospital. So what that means is that people are talking about late-term abortion being 7, 8, 9 months. No. Even after you are born, the baby still doesn't have rights. Yep. So that's the extent of the PRO Act, and people are not talking about it. Right. And one thing I want to drive home, especially to the Black community, is that a lot of Black Democrats who are independent journalists, they never talk about the extreme LGBT agenda and never talk about the extreme abortion agenda because they know that the older Black Democrats don't go for that. Right. So they hide that part of the Democrat Party and they only talk about the social aspects of Trump is a racist and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Well, we got to talk about the whole thing.
And I think that right now, I think what you said is really important because we've been shaming Tim Walz locally. And I've said so many times on this show that there's something about Minnesota in that it feels like to me that we are literally in competition with New York and California. Oh my gosh, it's like a rat race to become the most progressive state in the country. Yep. And now that Tim Walz has been put on the stage like this howdy doody running mate for Kiki Harris, we can actually get people to understand what it's been like coming from the state that has the governor that is solely responsible, not just for allowing Minneapolis to burn, but literally setting the precedent for the rest of the entire nation. That started here. This is ground zero for defund the police. This state under this governor, under his leadership. And so this is who Kamala Harris chose to be her running mate. This is so very important. So I want to talk about that a little bit. I really want to talk about, you hit on the Black community, and I really want to focus on, because I think that what's really important is not only do we talk about who Tim Walz is and the insane progressive agenda that he has and how he's ruled, but really more importantly, because you're both Black men, Donald Trump is really making headway with Black men in particular. And I really want to talk about why that is and really kind of talk about what we really need to stay focused on. Because, listen, Howdy Doody has been chosen. They're in their honeymoon phase right now. Okay. They're in their honeymoon phase right now. So the enthusiasm is up really high. But once she has to actually start answering, they're not even tough questions. People keep saying she has to answer tough questions. And it's been 18 days since she has had an interview. She's been running. But these aren't tough questions. These are regular questions that she needs to answer. But talk to us a little bit about why Black men in particular are favoring Donald Trump.
Okay, number one, we think the Black men on the left or the men on the left are kind of like beta men. You know, we feel they're like beta men. We're for family. We're for having our Second Amendment rights. We're for free speech. We don't get our feelings hurt easy. I mean, you have your opinion, I have my opinion. And we're not for it. Right. When you start dealing with children, when you start having guys playing in women's sports, we're getting to the point where it's like, this is embarrassing. It's not like an old school Republican thing, Republican and Democrat thing where, oh, the Democrats want like a school built over here and the Republicans want a sign over here. These ain't those days no more. This is something definitely different.
So you're talking about value system and common sense. Because if you're a man and you have a daughter and you put your daughter out in the field and you pay for her training and track and field,
yes.
And then she gets out there and she's running her heart out against Emily and Jennifer and Ashley, and then they stick Tyrone in lane 6. And Tyrone wins by 14 seconds.
Tyrone 6'5". Tyrone 6'5". He's like, see, it's like at this point, they're like playing with our emotions now. You know, they want us to actually look at Tyrone and say, hey, that's a girl.
And embrace him.
And embrace it.
Right.
See, as black men, like you were talking about, we're also fatherless. Yeah. And we also getting back to being the leaders of the community. You know what I'm saying? And so what we want to do, that's why my cry and my words, I'm always really focused on talking to men, but especially like black men. Right. I want to talk to y'all because y'all know we weren't raised like this. Let's stop acting like we was raised like this. We was not raised like this. So let's get back to how we take. But you took my stuff. You took your part. Yeah, you take my stuff. What? You took my stuff, man. He taking my talking. Well, we were not raised like this. Let's get back to how we were raised. We know that when we were raised, every Sunday we was going to church. Every Saturday we was cutting the grass. We was getting up and going to school. You saw your parents go. You know what I'm saying? We live very conservative life. Let's get back to those values, because when we stray away from that, everything is out of line. Let me tell you something. I couldn't mistakenly go inside a girl's bathroom without my parents or my grandparents pulling me out. Like, boy, what you doing? Or in school. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the thing is that like I said, I'm so glad Kamala Harris picked, I can't call her Kamala because they're gonna tell me I'm messing her name up. So come here. Yeah. And so I'm so glad she picked Tim Walz, because now there's no moderates. There's no moderate. There's no middle ground. Right. It is, we're going to go as progressive as you can with our legislation, or you're going to be conservative. That's it. There's no middle ground. So people got to figure out where they're going to be at. Are you going to be all the way to the left, or are you going to roll with Trump?
I love it. I love that.
But see, the thing is, we as a race, we still like ashamed of, we still rather check that D and be cool as a people. We still rather check that D and be cool with the rest of the black people instead of doing what the policies that we actually believe in.
But yeah, right.
But the tide is turning.
That's what's so important. Yes. And I think that it's going to depend on, it's going to depend on black men, the men.
Yep.
And this is really ironic, because when you think about the war on poverty with LBJ, they're number one, the top tier, in order to get support, in order to get aid, in order to get help. The woman had to kick the man out of the household. Yep. And then you turn here and it's black men leading the black family back together away from the Democratic Party. I think this is so great. Yep. For me, something that I've noticed is that when I ran for office, I noticed that women have complete control of the Democrat Party. Yes, whether that's black or white, women are running the Democrat Party. And so there is this enthusiasm. I get it. Like I said, they're in their honeymoon stage. Kamala Harris today said that after Trump's 1 hour press conference where he stood there and took all the questions, right? Total transparency, which is one thing I really liked about him when he was president, was that he was so transparent and willing to stand in front of the press and give answers and answer questions. But he said that he's willing to take debates on he gave 3 dates. She had to then answer because she got pressure. I want to talk about the fact that once this is all over, we need to be high-minded and really focus on this is really truly a contest between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris.
Yes,
and you said something really key, both of you did actually, in that at the end of the day, this is going to be a black and white issue. It's a black and white race. They are so far left. And it is, you are either going to vote for the American dream, right? And so we can get interest rates back and inflation down, and you want to get jobs and you want to fight for your family and have a future and leave legacy, right? And have an opportunity to do better and pay it forward. The right to self-determine, right? That is American. Oh my gosh. Or you're going to go far left where there are going to be tampons. They already are. Tampons in the men's bathroom. Right?
Yep.
And so I think that at the end of the day, what we need to do is really truly focus on that. That's what this is really truly all about. So you're right. This was a gift for us. This was a gift that she chose. But here in Minnesota, we also have, a lot of people don't know, we have the most progressive, most outrageous abortion laws in the entire country. We're also a sanctuary state. So if you were a 7-year-old and you wanted to escape your family and come to this state and be called a different name under a different gender in school, you have the right to do that, and they will protect that 7-year-old from their parents. This is what it's been like dealing with under the governorship of Tim Walz. And I shudder to think about him being our vice president and being the number 2 under Kamala Harris. I think that we are in great trouble.
Right, and you said that it is Trump versus Kamala. I like to say this is definitely good versus evil.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? This is good versus evil on like a whole other level.
Right.
And like you said, and I think the trans refuge, like we're a trans refuge state, I think other kids can run from their state.
They can
come here
Yes.
and get surgeries.
Yes.
Without parental.
That's correct. Right here in Minnesota.
Right here in Minnesota.
Yeah. Under Tim Walz.
Who can vote for somebody like that?
And I think when you said, let's talk to Black people, this is my message to Black people who are just so very excited to see a quote unquote Black woman running for VP.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't even want to focus on her race because it really doesn't matter. Okay?
Oh my God.
The bottom line is, if you believe that men can menstruate and that they can lactate and give birth, if you believe that it's okay to have Mike Tyson identify as a woman and go in to a boxing match and knock someone the heck out, knock a female out, if you believe in that, then by all means, you have your candidates, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you have the choice is so very clear. We will definitely, in my opinion, we will lose this country. We cannot afford another 4 years under this type. She is far more progressive than Joe Biden ever was. And she will take us to the brink. We will lose this country. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think on a topic that you were talking about, whether Kamala Harris is black or not, or quote unquote, or whatever, the reason why I feel like that is kind of important is because we, especially as black men, we feel disrespected by the Democrat Party. So when you play in our face and you say, oh, this person is black or the first black this or first black that, okay, well, let's do some digging. Because what happens is nobody told her to strap the Timberlands up, bring the hot sauce out, step with the step team.
Tupac,
Talk about Tupac.
Tupac wasn't even out.
You know what I'm saying? Cooking the greens in the tub. Nobody told you to do all of that.
You saw that right. You saw that right. The greens in the tub. Yeah.
So if you're gonna do all of that, then okay, we need to ask questions and see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And when we find out that you have self-identified as other things in the past, then we gotta figure out why you're doing that. Is this another black person who in one room can be black and in another room be something else? So it's disrespectful. You know, we can't switch up.
I can't switch.
You know what I'm saying? At all.
I'm a brown girl. Brown. Upside and down.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'll say about maybe 5 years from now, if Democrats continue to rule, you'll be able to switch.
But also, we've been through this with Obama. So it's like we need. If you're gonna wave that black flag, and I'm the first black this, the first black that, then we need you to be black.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't need you to be able to go in different rooms and be able to hide. And that's when we feel
I tell
disrespected.
people the best that we can give her is she's a POC. She's a yeah, that's it. That's the best we
And I
can
really
do.
do think at the end, it really doesn't matter her color, right? I think that what this is, and I talked about this on the show a lot, and that you folks, you know this, it's contrast and comparisons.
Yes.
And that's what we need to do.
Yep.
We need to compare. Remember what it was like under Donald Trump. Remember that 1.2% interest rate.
Yep.
Okay. Remember when jobs were plentiful. Remember when jobs were hiring and they hired at high rates and they promoted and there was confidence in industry. And so remember when we were energy sufficient, right?
Yep.
And so it was all about drill, baby, drill. And we had all this energy and we were able to rely on ourselves. And we had industry booming, right? Remember what it was like to have the lowest Black unemployment rate and the lowest Hispanic unemployment rate. Remember what that was like. And we didn't have this division, right? And I also wanted to talk about and think about what it was like across the globe, right? Putin didn't dare dream to make the moves he's made when Donald Trump was in office. China didn't move the way they were moving. I mean, Iran had no money to fund to be able to bomb anybody, right?
Middle East was peace in the Middle East.
In the Middle East. And so at the end of the day, right, this is truly a very clear choice. It's all down to common sense. And I went through that monologue there. I mean, it was a little bit tongue in cheek, but it really is when you go to that booth, especially two Black people who are all excited and getting all emotional and caught up in all the drama. I'm so happy to have Black men here to speak to this.
All right.
This is about our future. This is about our future as Americans. Black, white, red, yellow, blue, purple, or paisley. Okay? This is about our country. This is about a future and what we want our lives to look like. It's fun here in Dakota County. So when he made that pick for Tim Walz, what went through your mind first?
Oh, I thought, I'm like, yo, this can be good. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot to discuss on social media. Yeah. And I was just thinking, like, we can give a good insight. We can be the ones who give people a better insight to what's going on. So that's what I've been doing, telling people about the tampons and all of that. So that was it. And like Trump said, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He said that he was happy. He said that he was happy to. He said, "I'm happy to run against her."
Right.
He said, "I'm happy to run against her. I'll debate anytime."
Yep.
I think it's time for her to really step up to the plate and start answering those questions. The American people. She talked about the economy. Go ahead.
To this day,
He chomping at the bit. He chomping at the bit.
to this day, there is not an agenda on the Harris Walz website. If you go to the website, all they're asking for is money, merchandise, and how to volunteer. There is not there. How can you be? I'm getting a little too excited. It's like we haven't even got to the part where she has no delegates. The public has not participated in her being the nominee. This was Obama.
They talking about
This was a political coronation. They snatched it from Joe Biden. Gave him a sleeping pill, said, "Go to sleep."
Go to sleep for a little
This was a
bit.
political coronation.
Yes.
And now they're all excited. And they got Tim Walz and they got Kamala running out there with no policies. And this is what I want for change, for this serious change. And again, this is so significant that the two of you are here. What I want for Black people to do for this take the time out to drop emotion, drop excitement, and start to dig and research and weigh and pay attention to policy, because your future depends on it, right? This is about emotions versus policies.
Absolutely.
And if you truly want a future for yourself and for your children, then you will vote for Donald Trump. It's just simply that simple. Now, the fact that J.D. Vance was accused of being weird is because they're threatened. They're threatened because they can't call him a racist. They can't call him an elitist, right? Because of his background and how he came from. They can't call him stupid. He's clearly educated, and yet he preaches and he speaks to common people. He speaks to everyday Americans, like the ones that are attending this state fair right now. He speaks to the salt of the earth, and I think that that's who the Republican Party actually appeals to. It's regular, everyday working people who punch clocks, right? Who are delivering services, and they're delivering product. They work for a living, and they just simply want to secure a future for themselves and leave a legacy for the next generation.
Right. Yeah.
So it's so great to have Black men speak to this.
Thank you. Yeah, like you said, policy. It's policy over everything. Read the if people just read the policy, you'll agree with Trump.
Yeah.
Like my dad, we still got to bring our policy. I didn't bring I have to bring out. My dad still says, I don't like the way he's saying though. Look at the policy.
That's it. Don't like
the policy because we don't agree with nothing.
Yeah.
If you ask any Black person or anybody in general, if you just say this is what the Democrats believe and this is what the Republicans believe, everybody will be Republican.
Yeah.
If you go, everybody. I'll say 90-ish.
Sure.
Yeah, but also, since when did calling people weird was like a good joke? Like that's the corniest joke you can have in the world. It's like, you're weird. Okay, well, you know what I'm saying? Like that's so corny. And the thing is, it was all in unison. Like it was like one day they picked, like on Tuesday, let's everybody go on these shows and just call the Republicans weird.
And on Wednesday they addressed DEI. And my thing is, if DEI is so great, then calling Kamala Harris a DEI pick, why are you upset about it?
Thank you. Let me tell you something.
You said
I got it.
DEI didn't earn it.
No, listen, I told my homeboy. I said, y'all fighting so hard for DEI to be in place at corporation, all these jobs, whatever. I said, cool. But how come when somebody say, yo, you got hired as a DEI hire, it's a bad thing? I would be walking in there like, yo, I'm the DEI guy. Yeah, I'm one of the DEI guys that got in here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you can't speak out of both sides of your mouth. Either it's a good thing or a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? And we can't allow them to be like, yo, anything you question about Kamala is racist or misogynist. Now they're saying that you can't even talk about Tim Walz military history because it's disrespectful to people in the military. It's like everything that we say, they're putting into like a racing section or box or whatever. Yeah.
So I love it also that, they say that old white men are a problem in this country, and the very first person Kamala picks to be her running mate.
Exactly.
So pay not attention to what they say. Seek policy. Pay attention to policy and what they're putting out. I think that where we are is this. We are at what I call a sum total. And the sum total of the Biden-Harris administration is up. We've drawn a line and we have this sum total. And so now you have to decide if you want to get even worse, right? We're at 0 right now. If you want the Harris-Walz ticket, now we're going to move into negative.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. How many Black men did she lock up? No. How many Black men did her and Joe Biden lock up together? They got to be historical. They got to be a record.
Yeah.
But we still talking about Trump is the racist.
Yeah. I think that...
How many Black folks Trump locked up?
I heard the other day? Somebody put up a clip, and it was like Al Sharpton was getting locked up because he had took some money from his organization. And they said he got money for his organization from big donors like Donald Trump. And I was like, yo, you know how much money Donald Trump has given to not only like Jesse Jackson, but Al Sharpton. He was the first person to open up his country club in Florida to Black people to join. So it's like, it's like let's get off of this like racist stuff.
Kamala Harris ancestors owned slaves, right?
Yes, that is proven.
And there's one president that America has had their ancestors there owned no slaves.
That would be
Who is
Donald
that
Trump.
president?
That would be Donald Trump.
Who is that president?
This is the Democrat Party is howdy doody time. You're bankrupt. You're losing the black vote.
Yeah,
You're losing the black vote. You're losing grip.
God.
They also want a memory hole. Now, this whole border czar. Let's talk about this really quick because, first of all, we did not call her the border czar. They called her the border czar. We just picked up on what they said.
Absolutely,
Right? Am I right
absolutely.
about that?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so she left the door open. Now look, this is what we're gonna get to. So you got Tim Walz. So she left the door open, and now you have undocumented illegal immigrants who are able to come to Minnesota, get IDs, and be able to drive and be able to
And
vote,
healthcare, and housing,
and all
and
type of
vote.
benefits. You see what I'm saying? And Trump talked about
They got money. They got
get money. But look, Trump talked about black jobs. He said they coming in, they taking black jobs. All black folks know what black jobs is. Look.
If you know what black entrepreneurship is, you know what
You
black
know what black
jobs
jobs
is. You know
are.
what black unemployment is.
Yeah.
You know
You know what black jobs
is.
are.
Exactly. People work in close proximity to where they live.
That's correct.
If you bring a bunch of people and you insert them into areas where black people live, then black people are going to have to compete with the illegal immigrants for these jobs.
Yep.
That's plain and simple. And that's why if you check the stats on unemployment, you see that black people still have the highest unemployment rate out of everybody.
Okay, and once again, under the leadership of Democrats, blacks are still last in jobs, still last in health, still last in educational outcomes and graduation rates and in literacy rates and birth fatalities. I mean, it's so obvious. That's why I talk about the sum total, because they can't blame Trump. He's been out of office. We have been under Biden and Harris for the last 3.5 years. You cannot put any of this on Trump. And I'm saying that if you're unhappy for the last 3.5 years, do not give them another 4. Don't give her another 4.
Yep.
Right.
Don't
You
give
know,
another 4.
Borders are 11 million illegals into this country. She opened up the door. She talks about the economy and how, her commercial said, we're gonna give an economy where you only have to work one job. Where aren't you a part of that administration? That
You're in office right
I told
now.
my kids over there, I said, nah, people working 2, 3 jobs.
3
Yeah,
jobs.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what she talking about. She acting like it's a new leaf. She was there.
But why wait?
Yeah, why
If you
wait?
can turn
Yeah.
it now, you're still a part of this
Right.
administration.
Exactly.
And look, all Joe Biden has to do right now.
She talking about
What you gonna do tomorrow?
She talking about their answer that she visit the border. I ain't visit Europe yet either. What?
Come on now. What type of question?
Donald Trump knows he gonna get her when debate time comes.
But look, all they have to do right now is they can make an executive order, which is re-implement Remain in Mexico. That means that when you apply for asylum, you don't get let into the country. You have to stay in Mexico and wait until you get vetted. And that's what. Yeah, you can do that today.
Yep.
But they will not do it.
And Bidenomics would not have even happened had Kamala Harris not been the tiebreaker to vote that in. So if everyone's unhappy under Bidenomics, then that goes to Kamala Harris as well. I mean, this is, again, just a complete sum total of bad policies. And once she is queen, right, it's going to be even worse.
But they're going to tuck her away.
Yeah.
She's not going to have an agenda. She's not going to do interviews. She's going to barely debate. And they want you to all they want you to see is everything scripted, and they're going to make everything about how bad Donald Trump is, and they're going to see what happens. Now,
this is what they're gonna do. Dude, I bet you they're gonna see how bad she do in the first debate. If she get crushed the first debate, then they gonna take her off.
Yeah.
Well, watch. Don't worry.
Donald Trump,
okay.
There we go.
Yeah. They gonna take her off. If she get crushed, first debate, not take her off there's no more debates. Watch. They're gonna play the popularity game.
Yeah, because one thing I will say about Tim Walz is that I think he is a good debater. He's a good talker.
He got a little bit more substance.
He got substance.
Yeah.
He got at least quick. He can come up with quick one-liners, and you know what I'm saying. He has a little bit of charisma. So in that area, I think he is a good politician in terms of I disagree with him on everything, but but I can see how he can win. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like, we shouldn't care about the politician. Just worry about the legislation, worry about their policies, and look at it and decide from there.
This is about Americans, though. Yes. It's really, truly. And this is about principles, okay? This is about principles. It's about policies. And I'm telling you right now, if the idea of the American dream was universally to own a home, raise a good family, and live a balanced life and secure a future for your children and for your future retirement, regardless of ethnicity or sexual ID, these core principles should still hold true as common values that still lives in the majority of American hearts, like those we see here today. Like I said, if your idea of the American dream is less police, more drugs, okay, higher crime, higher inflation, a housing market out of control, higher interest rates, more racial division, more government corruption, more men and women's locker rooms and sports and pageants and sororities, more undocumented illegal aliens, more terror, and more world instability, then the American dream is dead. And you can just go ahead and vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And so the savage truth here today is that for the next 89 days, it's all about one vote, one last chance. That is Donald Trump as the only option for president for the United States come November 2024. Let freedom ring and bring back the American dream. I love having you guys here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
This is what America looks like.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me, guys. Thanks, Prince and Seth, for joining me. I'm going to have them back because this has been so fun.
Let's do it.
But I want to say this, and you always know, okay? Thank you for joining me with the backdrop of the Dakota County Fair. Thank you, Seth. Thank you, Prince, for having me and being on the show. Thanks for talking to the viewers. Remember this, as always, as I say, be bold, be strong, be faithful, be true. Till next time, I'm Cicely and Prince and Seth. Bye!
The Savage Truth with Cicely Davis is a production of Front Page Magazine and the David Horowitz Freedom Center. Reproduction of this podcast without express written consent is prohibited.